Hello and welcome to All For United with me, John Foster, MUFC match reaction show. First things first, happy International Women's Day. There we go. It's been fantastic to see all those W's on social media today. Man United had 2 W's yesterday with the women's team and the men's team, so congratulations to those. Lots to talk about today. Jess Sigsworth back in the starting lineup and getting a goal, fantastic. Really looking forward to talking about that one. Lucy Stan come back from injury, potential player of the match as well, fantastic there. But let's start off with something that we don't usually talk about. So that's the men's team. I don't think you can win a derby against City in the way that we did, and not at least address it and say well done to them. Fantastic for me. Again, Ollie wins Pep. I think he's won some sort of record against Pep now compared to other managers in the league. So just a fantastic day all round. Natalie, let's start off with yourself. Just the men's team, just a massive well done.
Yeah, I'm buzzing. 2 wins. I think anyone who watched it on, watched the women's game first, you would have seen Glenn saying, when I was here last time, we won at Old Trafford, and let's hope I'm the lucky charm. And you know what? I was thinking, no way, Glenn, calm down, mate. And he was right. He's the lucky charm. They're going to have him every day now, every game when the women's are playing back to back. Just to make sure, he's got that charm and he keeps sending the luck to both teams. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, and it's great. Isn't it? I was speaking to Ben, who runs this channel, and I just mentioned it before. I know before we came live, he said to me, "Oh, I always feel doubly excited," and we do, because my excitement started at 12 o'clock or 12:30, whereas some of the men's fans, obviously, they started celebrating from say 5, 6 o'clock onwards, whereas us, we get that extra 5, 6 hours. Really is a double whammy, isn't it? Ben, as a long, what do you call it? A long
lifelong
fan. You know what, mate? Yeah, I'm getting that. What were your thoughts on that double one?
Man, as I said, like a roll of reds last night, that's what you call a Super Sunday. Man, yeah. I was buzzing last night, mate. Two wins for both our United sides. Can't ask for a better Sunday than that. And I agree with that, actually. Glenn should be on MUTV all the time with these double headers. And to be fair, though, shout out to him, because his insight into the game, mate, as a pundit is quality. And I was champion Siobhan Chamberlain as well of MUTV. I reckon she should be on a few more doing punditry and everything. All right, I know she's got a young baby at home and everything, but I actually think her insight to the game is absolutely quality as well. But mate, absolutely buzzing with the 2 results, mate. You can't complain, can you? Anyone that does complain, mate, is just an idiot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and just on those 2 pundits that you spoke about, it's because they know the team as well, don't they? They're not just coming out with bland statements that any Tom, Dick, and Harry can say. They actually know they know the club, don't they? And it's just great to hear their insights. Matt, over to yourself, mate. Did you get a chance to watch the men's game?
I did, yeah. It was good. I enjoy watching all the edits afterwards. I've seen people put Titanic music to Luke Shaw's little amazing run. And I sent Ben the alternate commentary as well. They just have me.
Love that.
Like you've all said, double win, and then the Scousers lost, which made me laugh even more. I was up here yesterday. I got from Bosch, but and then raised the bar. Oh, real stuff. It just, good time. So, men's win, women's win. Scousers embarrassed themselves with a 7th loss or something, sat down in the bottom. So it's all good. I think they might just stay up, but who knows? It's cool, isn't it? But good weekend.
Yeah, it was a fantastic weekend, wasn't it? Yeah. We're here to talk about the women's team anyway, as always. Won 3-0. Nat, let's just bring yourself in. I mean, were your expectations kind of met at the end of that game?
Yeah, definitely. I know we're going to talk about everyone who scored, but it's just good to see people, who haven't really had a lot of game time getting in amongst it, getting the goals. I think when we all saw the lineup, a lot of people were worried, nervous. I think we were expecting to see Kristen Press. Fortunately, she got a little knock. They're saying it's nothing serious. We hope not. But we had it sort of covered. It was sort of simple. There was no kind of, they made it tough, Villa, but it wasn't I was thinking, oh, you know, Mano, we're going to have to watch out for her if we do this, if we do that. But we knew our jobs. We did it well. It was professional performance. Both teams professional performance. And, you know, you can say both teams could have scored a lot more. But, you know, we're happy with 3-0. I guessed it right on the Barmy Army Instagram. So I'm happy with that. And I just think I just thought, oh, let me look out some numbers. 3. Bam. And it was. And I'm happy.
Yeah. I think 3-0 was about fair. I think it was quite professional in Casey's approach. We'll talk about the in-game management a little bit later, so I can get into a bit of detail. But yeah, for me, I think I said 3-0 in the build-up. I'm sure it says on YouTube. I think we said it with Matt on the Twitter stream as well. And it's just what we needed just to get back to winning ways. Ben, I mean, what were your thoughts going into the game? I mean, is it kind of did the game go as you expected?
Yeah, I think so, mate. You know, we weren't really troubled, were they? They weren't really trouble us, did they? You know, they didn't have much possession of football. I think they defended quite well, to be fair, to Villa. You know what I mean? Until Chris Jansen's rocket, man. I think there was in our faces a couple little snaps at the ankles and everything. Something you expected. They defended quite well, Villa, to be fair. Hats off to him, mate, because they could have crumbled after the first one, but they made it a little bit tough for us. You know, they remained resilient throughout. But mate, it was just job done, man. 3 points in the bag, a big 3 points, by the way, after a 3-week international break and coming off back-to-back defeats, man. Before that, you know. So listen, it for me just absolutely worked out perfectly. Casey had them all drilled to absolute perfection. Everyone did their jobs. Just a really enjoyable performance.
That's what I said on Twitter, or I said it somewhere, I'm not too sure where, but it was an enjoyable performance. We got the early goal. We never looked like that we were going to concede. It looked like fairly comfortable, and those are the games where, as a fan, you don't need to be too tense. You can just enjoy what's actually going on, especially when you get that early goal. You know, it does look good. Ben, at any point did you think that we may not score because of them playing so defensive and putting quite a few players behind the ball? Or did you always think to yourself, yeah, we're going to create a chance here and score off it?
No, I always thought we was going to score, mate. You know, I think just the way that we was pressing them in the final third, mate. You always knew it was going to come. I didn't think. I wasn't sat there thinking, oh, we're going to struggle. I think we're going to struggle. It's going to be one of them days, you know. Yeah, I just you always knew it was going to come. It was just when was it going to come? You know what I mean? And it was just. I wasn't fearful. Because I knew that we had the correct personnel on the pitch to go and get a goal at any time. It was just a matter of what minute he was going to score and how he was going to score it and who was going to score the goal. And for me, Kirsty Jansen opens the score, and it was a bit of a loose ball from their one of their players. She picks it up, runs at the centre half, and then she unleashed the shot. Yes, it took a bit of a deflection off the player, and it's just hit the underside of the bar and goes in. But mate, that you need that little bit of luck sometimes. You know, the loose ball come in and then the deflection for the shot. You know, sometimes you need that little bit of luck just to set you on your way, and then. You know what I mean? After that, it was just how many was we going to get, you know. And I was always confident we was going to score, you know. It just depending on how well they defended and how well we broke them down.
Regarding the actual Kirsty Hansen goal, it's like that well-known saying, if you don't shoot, you don't score, do you?
Exactly, yeah.
Never know what's going to happen. But Snoopy Loopy in the comments, nice to see Carrie come on. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that separately. Matt, I mean, over to yourself. Was you surprised how comfortable the win ended up being?
Not really. I think obviously, you know, we kind of, you know, me and you on previous shows and other people as well sort of talked about. We knew what we were going to get. We knew they were going to stick players behind the ball. We knew they had sort of 5 at the back. We knew after internationals that it takes us a little bit to get going. And yeah, we got there sort of, you know, opening 20 minutes was maybe a fraction wobbly in terms of sort of passing and overall play, but it was nothing to be concerned about. It was just, you know, one of them, and we got into our rhythm eventually, and sort of off we went. And it reminded me of kind of obviously similar to the Bristol game, but obviously not the same scoreline. You know, it took a little bit to sort of click things together, and I think once you break down that stubbornness of sort of 11 behind the ball, and get 1 or 2 goals, listen, the floodgates open, and that's pretty much what happened. You know, we did have chances for more goals as well, but happy with the result. You know, nice chilled afternoon. You can sit there, you can enjoy it. Not threatened. I don't think they had one shot, not that I can remember. So yeah, good day all around.
Yeah, and it's how that we could enjoy it as fans, but also Casey could afford to make changes. And again, we'll talk about the game management separately as well. But she's done a lot of things right, and we'll discuss that. But before we do, starting 11. So Matt, let's stick with yourself first. No Christian Press, obviously. We came out slightly before that she took a little knock in training. I think Casey said it's nothing serious, and she's hopeful to be back for the next game. What were your first impressions of the fact that Christian wasn't playing? Was you either a bit worried about her or worried about her not being in the starting 11? Because a lot of fans thought, okay, we need to play Christian Press and she needs to play out wide, or even some fans saying play down the centre. To you, was it like a big loss at the start of the game?
I wouldn't have said a big loss. No, I think if we were playing Arsenal, then obviously I would have said big loss. But I think, you know, it's Villa, and like we said all season, listen, we've just got used to the injuries this year, haven't we? We've had so many big losses. But it didn't concern me because, you know, sort of the week leading up to the game, I know I said similar to you when we said Jess centrally. And there's a reason that we've said Jess centrally, and there's a reason that I've been going on for the sort of last 12, 18 months when she was stuck out wide last year, you know, that she needs to be central, and we saw why. You know, on yesterday's game, I think put in a great shift. At times we could have found a better, and at times she's slightly isolated. But listen, you know, she's not played in a while, so it was sort of, you know, getting her in there. But I think, you know what you get from a hard-working player, and you know what you get from her in terms of her work rate, and her finishing is very good. You know, get her in and around that box, and it doesn't matter whether it's with her head, with her feet. She's a clinical finisher. So I think, you know, surprised that obviously Press was missing, but then we heard it was a knock. So obviously, you know, but for me, even if Press was there, I'd still played her alongside Jess. You know, I keep saying I'm not a fan of the two holding midfielders, and I'm still not. And I don't care if it's Villa or whoever, you know, I think it takes that little bit away from going forward. But, you know, yesterday we coped without Press, and it was absolutely fine. So I think it's good because despite all the injuries, we can still utilise the squad. People are coming in now, and they're stepping up to the plate. I'm sure we'll get onto it later. I was very impressed myself with Lucy Stan. But, you know, things like that where players are coming back, you know, we're seeing young players, or one young player given a chance. I suppose count Ivana as a young player, and it's good to utilise the squad as best we can at the minute.
Definitely, yeah. Natalie, sticking with Christian Press, obviously coming back off the international duty, scoring a couple of goals, looked like she was on form. I was really looking forward to seeing her play in this game, especially against weaker opponents. How disappointed were you to see her not in the starting 11?
Yeah, I was, you know, obviously it's a knock, and I understand why she's taking her out. She didn't want to make anything worse before Arsenal, but for me, it's like you said, had a fantastic, she believes, got 2 goals. I think she got an assist, you know, was really on form. You know, everyone's talking about her playing on the wing, and she probably would have got that chance. We heard on Friday, you know, everyone's fit, they're ready to go, coming back with confidence, building up confidence, whatever you want to say. It would have been great to have her, you know, playing on the pitch. And I mean, that's what it's all about. You want to, you know, you got these World Cup winners, you want to see them playing, whether it's against Arsenal. Hopefully she's back for that. But for me, just would have been nice, the extra game just before it, just to get herself back in the groove of playing for Man United. I know she's back in training and everything, and she's back to it, but it just would have been nice to have her on the pitch, you know, yesterday, where even if it was just like 10 minutes for her on the pitch. But I think, you know, I'm not going to say, oh, she should have done this, because you never know what's wrong. And, you know, so I think it's right if they say rest her, you know, we're not doctors here. But yeah, I know we're going to get onto it, but that John Fry comment, you know, big one. My girl.
Well, I'm going to say it right now. I haven't seen a header like that from a Man United player since Cristiano Ronaldo, because that header was banging. But we'll move on to that one. Ben, just finishing up on Christian. It's just not working out, is it? In the sense of we just can't get her to play games, let alone consistent games at the moment. It's just really disappointing for her.
It is, mate, but it's just one of them things in football. It's part and parcel of the game, innit? Players picking up injuries, you know. It's just one of them things, mate. I think, you know, it's disappointing, mate, because you want to see your best players on the football pitch. You want to see your Tobin Heath, you want to see your Presses, you want to see your Russos, mate. You know, it's just. Of course, it's disappointing. Of course, people are going to be a little bit downbeat about it. But just think when they all come back and they all start playing together again on the same pitch. That's all I'm looking forward to. You know what I mean? I shouldn't think that press should be out for that long anyway, by the sounds of it. So fingers crossed she's back next week against Arsenal, or because we're going to need her, I think. But and it's disappointing me, but as I said, it's part and parcel of football. You always lose. At some point, you lose a player of great importance. It's how you deal with that, how the other members of the squad step up into that role that certain players left. And I think, people that have stepped in for Press and Heath and Russo while I've been injured, have done a fantastic job. Let's be fair, mate. None of them have done a bad job or anything. They've done a fantastic job to step into that role and give the best that they can give, So it is disappointing, but I'm just looking forward to the return of these players, mate, because when they all return, mate, I fear for a lot of teams.
Well, we saw it, didn't we, at the start of the season? You saw the fantastic run that we had. And obviously, gradually, one by one, or one comes back and another one goes. We just haven't had that consistent team just yet, have we? And it's moved to Friday now, isn't it? I think on BT.
Yeah, Friday, yeah.
From Thursday to Friday, next week. Matt, do you want to finish up on the forwards?
Yeah, it was just to kind of link into what you were saying about Press, and I know, like you said, obviously some had mentioned wide and some had mentioned central, but I think for me, and I don't like going back on old things now, but a lot of people sort of criticised and said stuff about her, and I think for me, sort of yesterday was telling. I think people are quick to blame Press, but like I mentioned at the start of the show, I thought Jess got isolated at times, and I think sometimes the way we're set up doesn't help our forwards. And I said this last year about Jane Ross, and I got absolutely hammered for it for one reason or another. But the way we play doesn't suit Jane, and the way we still play now. I mean, look, Kristen Press is one of the best in the world, but I think with your forward play, like you say, when we get players back, hopefully we can sort of get more. But I think if we get more players in and around, whether that means moving Press wide, get more players in and around that central forward, because at the minute it looks like a sort of a 4-2-3-1. And what it is the three in behind aren't getting close enough to the one. And at times, this is why I wonder, does this contribute to our injuries? Because there was so much running yesterday from Jess and so much pressing. You wonder if maybe, I don't know, or whether it's something to do with training. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting with you mentioning that point. I just wanted to sort of add on to that before obviously we go on to Jess and obviously the rest of the game. Yeah,
like I said, we will come to Jess, but just a few other points. The start 11, another talking point was Martha playing at right back as opposed to maybe Amy Turner or Maria, who could have played in those roles. Matt, I mean, you mentioned it to me on Twitter. What were your thoughts on that choice and also Martha's performance?
Yeah, it was an interesting choice. I mean, to be fair, we kind of said, didn't we, to each other, we didn't know if Smithy was out, and then we heard Casey's press conference, but I wasn't too sure whether Martha was fully fit. So to see her in there, I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. But yeah, no, she was, solid enough. She had a good game, and she's always dependable. We know what we get with Martha. I mean, she doesn't get up as much as the other fullbacks, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. She kind of holds a position and off she goes. There's one moment that worried me, the ball to Amy T, when she had to stretch, and I thought, oh God, she's pulled up here. Stretched, and you see her holding a leg, and I thought, God, another injury, here we go. But no, luckily, Amy T, being the warrior that she is, ran it off. But no, more than happy with Martha. She's come in, like I said, solid enough, dependable enough, just does the basics, really, doesn't she? Puts herself about. She's like a little terrier, like at your feet constantly, which, happy days. Just different, isn't she? A different little sort of fullback to the modern day ones, like I say. The modern day ones now you see up and down and up and down. But yeah, no, happy enough, like I say, in terms of selection and everything else. And I know you said we're going to get onto it, it was, it was absolutely fine.
Ben, Matt said obviously Martha doesn't get forward as often as maybe some fullbacks, but she did get forward at one point and took a shot. I think it was just a bit blocked, but that could have been another goal for Martha. Obviously, you remember the goal from the first season very well. But what were your thoughts on that decision, and obviously just Martha's performance in general?
Yeah, I mean, Well, I thought she was going to. I called it. I thought she was going to score, mate. The way she was going forward a little bit, because I think at first, like even Siobhan Chamberlain said on MUTV, was that owners sort of was sitting back a bit more, and Martha was going forward and attacking a little bit. So that was interesting to see. But in terms of Martha, selection-wise, I was surprised because I thought, I thought that like Amy T might go to right back, and then Maria Thor. I don't ask me to pronounce her second name. I'm so sorry. I learned it and I forgot it again. But yeah, I thought she might come in at centre half. But it was good to see that Martha playing. Because as I said on Twitter, I think she could be a key player. Yeah, she won't. I don't think she'll start week in, week out. But I think there's a key player there for us going forward into trying to cement in our Champions League places, because she's got the experience, she's got the know-how of the league, and she's going to be quite fresh because she's been injured most of the season, unfortunately. So it was just good to see her back playing and back enjoying the game of football, because the one thing when you're a footballer is when you're injured, you're out for a long time. That must be the most frustrating thing in the whole world. Do you know what I mean? So to be back out on that pitch again, to play as well as she did as well, to put in a decent performance, I think it's credit to her as well, because I think she's worked hard off the field. You could tell she's worked hard on her fitness levels and et cetera, and I think it's good to see that she's come back in. She's not nervous or anything. She went out there. She gave the best that she could give, and listen, mate. There was a few times I thought, "Oh, she's going to score there." This looks menacing. This, I mean, it's good to see that she still wants to get into that box. She still wants to maybe try and get a shot away, or maybe try and bring some other players into play. And it's just really, really good to see her back playing football. No matter what people may think of her, what people may think of her abilities or anything, the one thing that you will get with Martha Harris is work rate, and you need them type of players in your team. I've said this loads of times before. You need, as well as your flair players, your skillful players, the players that football comes an absolute breeze to them. You need them hard-working soldiers on that football pitch that will run their socks off, that will give everything for the team. And in Martha Harris, that's the type of player you get him. So it was really, really pleasing to see her back, pal. I was buzzing for her, mate. Absolutely happy to see her back, getting more game time under her belt, and hopefully that will now stand us in good stead as the season progresses into its business end, and we push for them Champions League places, and we try and cement ourselves and get ourselves Champions League football.
For me, I just want to say one thing about the Martha thing when they're taking shots, and it won't be that long. But when Shivy went, Martha's getting a nosebleed, it just flashed me back to when Shivy started all that rubbish going, because that's how it started. It was Martha's never going to score, and it was like, well, I bet you this, and then that's how the Beard Challenge started. So I just want to shout out Shivy for that.
Yeah. Well, continue with Martha and Natalie, because for me, I mean, the lads just mentioned there about she's not really the fullback if you want someone to get forward, but I think she was forced to get forward in this game because Tierney kept on tucking inside and going back more centrally. So we needed that width, didn't we? And because Aston Villa weren't threatening, we could kind of sacrifice Martha Harris going forward and just leave three at the back. But I think it was nice to see Martha get that game time. Whether or not she'll play against Arsenal, that's going to be another question. But I'm sure you was glad to see Martha on the pitch as well, was it, Nat?
Yeah, and she looks like more fitter, like Ben says. She looks stronger. She looks like a different player from when I first saw her in 2018, and it's good. It's credit to her and Casey. And I see a comment there. I don't know if I'm going to put it on screen. Fullbacks are not going as much on as pressed high, but I don't think it's that. I think it's potentially, like you said, Tooney was tucking in, so Martha had to be that width. So obviously, if you've got one fullback going forward, you can't have them both going forward at the same time. Not in a way, but I think for me, Anna was pressing forward just as much, maybe more in the second half than Martha, and then maybe that's something that they sort of, I don't know, I'm not saying that they talk about it on the pitch, but it's like, I'm going to go this time, and she had a little nutmeg and had a little chance on her. I think Anna's my favourite. I think we'd said that before, and as fans, we've got time to be biased. Anna is my favourite, But Martha, credit where credit's due. She is putting in top solid performances. Even when that game, I think it's Birmingham, and she came off injured, she was still doing quite well, I thought, before she got a little rib injury. And it's on Maria now. Maria Terez Doherty, that's how I'm saying it. To sort of come in and say, listen, this is my spot, this is my spot at centre back, this is my spot at right back. We let Abby go because she wasn't getting the game time, but that doesn't mean just because you've come in, you're guaranteed anything. It's on yourself to prove it in training and prove it when you get the minutes. And I think she was all right anyway when she got her minutes. But yeah, just seen a little other comment, and it was about press needing a year. And I've said that all the time. I've said there's no shame in asking. I think it was Sang. There's no shame in needing a year or anything to feel that it doesn't matter who it is. So yeah, well, let's get on to the business. The real one, number 9, the main girl, the one, 9, number 1, Jess Sigsworth. She was the best player on the park. Obviously, it's standing very good, but that is a striker. That is how you do it. That was hurrying, hassling, bang, in there, not letting them sleep. There's a few videos popping about, 48 hours. Go and check him out. He does all the little thing, and there's another person heading this. But she was just relentless in it. I love it. That's what I love about her. She just doesn't pay it up, and any little thing from the Villa players, she was there. And I know Matt was saying about running and all this. And we are getting a little muscle injuries. If you look at the way Klopp plays, they play the high press, and look at all their injuries. We are getting those little muscle injuries. And Casey said it after. We're changing about pitches. That doesn't help. No, it doesn't. For me, I think there's been so many injuries. I'm not saying anything. Look at Arsenal. We need to have an internal investigation. And it's not Casey felt this fault. We need to just look at why it's happening. There's no good saying, I don't know. We need to make sure it doesn't happen next year because, the players that we've had, Ben listed them, Russo, Fuso was out for a long time as well at the start, Tobin, Kristen, they're always out. It's not good, not in a horrible way, but we need to do something to make sure it doesn't happen next year, especially if we're going to get Champions League. Obviously, hopefully we'll get extra players, but if anyone has those injuries, it's going to be detrimental to them. And if we want to really, win the league, yeah, you need the squad, but you need to make sure your players are fit for the majority of the season.
Can I just jump just dead quick, John?
Yes.
This sort of injury thing that Nat mentioned, I something actually dawned on me yesterday. We lost our physio in summer, and we've got to come in. And like Nat, you don't like to criticise, but you do wonder. Obviously, last year, Nat knows I had Kitty Forrest. For those that kind of, the geeks like us lot that know all the stuff. But it was just quite interesting to me. Obviously, like Nat said, the pitches obviously will be a difference because I know LSV, it has grass, it has Astro. So, Astro is obviously not the best, but it got me wondering yesterday, could a change in physio and a change in sort of rehab and prehab and things, could that maybe be a factor? But I guess it's something we'll sort of never know. But just thought I'd add that in as a little food for thought there, shall we say, regarding sort of new physio and routines changing up in pitches and things.
It's funny you just mentioned that name because we haven't obviously heard that name since you left. But I remember driving up to LSV for one of the first times, and I drove past her car, and it's like a personalised red plate, and I was thinking, okay, who's that? Went onto Twitter, and I was like, oh, okay, that's the physio. Obviously, I'm not going to plate on here. But I was like, oh, okay. So obviously I knew it was someone special because the number plate. But anyway, moving on. We want to talk about Jess now. I've titled it Back Where She Belongs. And I meant that as in the starting lineup at number 9. Now, obviously she wasn't the favourite at the start of the season because of the players who we brought in. I get that. That's fine. But Tooney wasn't the favourite at the start of the season either. Katie Zelem went off with coronavirus. Tooney played well. She's never favourite. Who else is that? Amy Turner at the start of the season probably wasn't a favourite to be centre back, but she forced her way in. Is this now Jess's chance to force her way in? Because I'm just going to put it out there right now. Arsenal game, I'll be more than happy if she's our number 9 against Arsenal. And that doesn't mean that I don't want anybody else to play, but we can accommodate them elsewhere. But I'd like to see Jess have her chance now. And Matt, what are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think you can't, after yesterday's performance, I don't think you can drop her for me. I think it'd be very, very harsh if she was benched, regardless of who's back from injury or illness or whatever. I think I'd chuck her in. And again, touched it before, we know what we get. Obviously, last year I thought she was hard done by on the right wing. There must be a reason that Casey sees for going out there. But for me, if you've got a centre forward that's, like I said, that good at pressing and that strong and lethal finisher, to stick them wide, I can't understand it. But listen, that's why I'm not the manager of Man United Women. But no, listen, it's like I say, it's good. She's back. She's got her opportunity. She's taken her opportunity. I think that's the most important thing for me. If you're coming in, you're given your chance. Take it, and if you don't take it, then it ain't looking good, is it? But she came in, absolutely buzzing. She was up for it, as she always is. I wouldn't even say point to prove, because she's got nothing to prove. I'd just, like you, I'd be happy if she was in against Arsenal, bullying those defenders, get players in and around her, because that for me is crucial now, against a slightly better team. And then let's go from there and just see what we get. We've got to go in against Arsenal physical. So I'd like to see, obviously, Stanny back in there as well. Haley Ladd, for me, needs to start and see where it takes us. I think for me, we've got to go to Arsenal and really, put them on the back foot in their own backyard and see where it takes us.
We'll discuss Stanny Forth and Haley Ladd shortly. I just want to stick with Jess a little bit longer. Ben, what were your thoughts on that performance?
Mate, I thought it was a top performance, pal. I think she has to be a bit selfish a little bit more, to go to Casey and say, listen, I'll play anywhere for you. Right, left, centre half, centre back. People will play anywhere for Casey Stoney, but I think she has to be a little bit more selfish. Say, Casey, I'm a number 9, I'm a centre forward. Put me where I need to play, and I'll get you the goals. Like I said, I think I said it on Twitter yesterday. Feed Sigsworth and she will score. I think she's criminally underrated. I think if you cast your minds back to last season, before we started our WSL journey, and we had rival fans going, "Oh, she won't do this, she won't do that. You need better centre forwards. She won't score." Mate, trust me, there's a centre forward in her, that there is a goal scoring machine in Jess Sigsworth. And it's a bit like I think Matt said earlier on, is it the style we play maybe doesn't suit centre forwards sometimes, especially people like you Jess Sigsworths and your presses and all that lot. You know what I mean? Just maybe our style of play is maybe not suited to a goal poaching number 9. You know what I mean? But it just proves when you do get the ball into the box, how dangerous and lethal she becomes. There's like a little switch in her head that goes, "That's my ball. I'm going to go and attack that." And I just think that sometimes, perhaps maybe we should, in the final third, maybe try and look and vary our play up a little bit to try and find our centre forward. Maybe like a few seconds, a split second earlier than what we might do, because the one thing that Jess Sigsworth thrives on, I think, is that first time ball, just playing on the shoulder of the centre half, and just that first time ball. If you get it in behind the back line, she'll spin them, and and she'll get latched onto that and get a shot away, mate, and more than likely end up in the back of the net, because I honestly think she's really criminally underrated, and to be fair, mate, she has done really well when she's played out on the right. But for me, I've always said, to get the best out of Jess Sigsworth, please play it as an attacker. As the number 9, as the vocal point, as your post to hit. Because I think, to be fair, mate, also holding the ball up, she's really good at holding the ball up with her back to goal. Yeah. I don't know if people will agree with me, but I just think very, very, very underrated part of the game is play back with the back to goal. The way she holds the ball, the way she links the play up, the way she'll bring a fellow teammate in, whether it's another winger, whether it's another central midfield player. I think you have to sometimes, as a player, be a little bit selfish and say, listen, me, Gaffer, I play anywhere for you. I will do anything for this team, but I need to be playing centre forward. I will get you them goals. We've got players out injured. You need goals. Let me be the one to get you goals. And I think the way Sigsworth took that header yesterday, mate, it was a bullet, mate. Even I went and I think a hashtag boom. You know what I mean? That was a boom of a header. That was a great ball in. And then I'll tell you what, she attacked that with absolute menace. She attacked that like Nemanja Vidic would attack a header direction on towards goal. That was a proper header, proper striker's header, you know. And I just think we just need to just, you know, be a little bit more confident in asking Jess Sigsworth to play that number 9 role, to you know, to get us the goals. Because I think the more that she gets that sort of chance and the more that the other players realise we can rely on her to get goals, mate, I think we've got a goal-scoring machine there, pal, just ready to be unleashed. But it's just, for me, I mean, I'm not a professional footballer. I'm just an ordinary, average guy, you know what I mean? But for me, I just think maybe the player needs to be a little bit more selfish and go, Gaffer, please, I beg you, play me up front. I will get you them goals. And I think Jess Sigsworth there is a goal scorer, a proper goal scorer. And I think we need to just trust in her ability in front of goal a little bit more than what we do. Very career underrated, as I said.
It's like I said, we just need to. Well, she just needs to carry on now and force her way in, doesn't she? And I think
Exactly.
She's a great start. Natalie, do you want to finish up on Jess and that goal and that performance?
Oh, mate, when it landed, when the header went, and you know, it wasn't like it was, you know, in the middle of the box. It was her running in, bang. Jen says, bullet, boom, right into the other side of the goal, keeper no chance. And, you know, for me, she really proved herself this game. I think there's times where potentially Casey might have been a bit nervous or what, I don't know what, but for me, she, you know, we've got Ross there, yes, but we've not got, you know, Russo, not got Toby, and we didn't have Kristen. So it was time for Jess to step up, and she's taken a chance. There was a couple of chances, you know, she hit one right at the keeper, it was offside anyway, but, you know, it's little things like that. If you just puts it to either side, bang, clinical, you know, that's what I think we need a bit. Even with the men's team, you say it, we just need to be a bit more clinical, like Tony Marshall versus Edison. Anyone watched that game? Bang, straight at the keeper. No, just put it either side. Just, and I think, like what Ben said, she's better when they play a through ball, when she can run onto it and just slot it in. Yeah. She's got, if it's sort of right in front of her, she sort of, I don't know, but when she's got the time and she can run onto it, she's a lot better. But for me, I wouldn't be upset if she played versus Arsenal. I think even if you put, I don't know whether you put, like we were saying, press on the wing.
Maybe, yeah.
Right, and then Jess through the middle. That's what I'd like to see. And I think Jess as well could, you know, we need to see a bit more fluidity sometimes in that attack. And Jess would move about, and it would allow Kristen to then cut inside and maybe come in central, and then Jess would go to that wing and cover for her. So for me, definitely I can see Jess starting. I mean, if she didn't, she'd be devastated, I think, and I think it wouldn't be right not to start her against Arsenal. I mean, yeah, it's a bit better than Villa. She's not going to have as much space. They're not going to probably give the ball as much away, but for me, I think she's proven she's going to hassle them, harry them. I mean, I know Ben and Matt said on that Saturday show about the City game, and Jess was on them, on that thing. So for me, if she sticks it on them, these Arsenal defenders, you know, and we press them high, they don't like the press, I think she can do great things and get goals versus Arsenal.
Yeah, I don't think too many people disagree with that, to be honest. Matt, you touched on Hayley Ladd. I know you're quite vocal regarding our midfield and who you would choose in your midfield three. Once again, Casey decided not to play Hayley on this occasion. It's not so much of a surprise anymore, is it? Because it's happened 3 or 4 times throughout this season, but I think this time it worked out for her. But what were your thoughts on that decision? And of course, when she did come on, she got that assist, didn't she?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them, like you say, we kind of get used to it now. I think the thing we all agree on is we struggle without Hayley, but I think there comes a point where, you know, especially now we know FA Cup, at least a couple of rounds back this year. It comes to we've got that many injuries. If we lost Hayley Ladd, so I think for me, like, no disrespect to Villa, but it was Villa, and I think being able to rest Hayley now and then, and she brought her on, is absolutely fine. I've no problem with it. It's just when it's them big games, we really do need her. And like I say, it was Villa. But yeah, Hayley came on. Was it 6 assists of the season? Nice little ball in, set up Katie for the header. So yeah, it was good. Like I say, we were able, and I'm sure we'll probably come on to it later, we were able to take a couple of players off and swap a few around and rest some and bring some on. And we did it with Tooney as well. So yeah, pleasing to see Hayley. Always a pleasure to watch her and just for what she brings. And yeah, job done really. Again, another assist.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. I don't think fans, let alone anybody else, gives her the credit that she deserves when it comes to assists. So we always talk about how hard she is to get past and that she's a rock and she's just what we need in front of our centre backs and this, that, and the other. But you're right. I mean, the assists are mounted up as well now. So again, that's just something else in her, that she's got, and she's actually in the penalty box as well. Creating chances there. So that's not too bad from a CDM. We want to move on, so let's talk a little bit about the goals. So Hansen's, well, it looked like a wonder strike at the start until you saw that it was a deflection, but it was great power in the shot, a great left foot, just outside the box. And that's the good thing, isn't it? That's what Kirsty Hansen can give to you, Ben. Obviously, I'll move over to yourself first, being a massive Kirsty Hansen fan. No surprise that she got that shot away, and just another good performance by Kirsty.
Yeah, I think I called it a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember when I called it. But I called it I think she will start from the left now. Leah's unfortunately out for a while. It was just nice to see a good, confident performance. I think I called it the way that she played it on the left against Cyprus for Scotland. All right, yes, fair enough. It's Cyprus, and they absolutely smashed the hell out of them. But I thought it was confident. It was good to see her from the left-hand side getting a goal for Scotland as well, and and having a very, very good performance. So I thought, yeah, that. And let's be fair, she could play either left or the right, or on the right-hand side. But like I said earlier, you need that little bit of luck in football sometimes, and it's come off one of their players. A loose pass, she's picked it up. You know what I mean? And she's hit it, and obviously it's took a little bit of a deflection as well. Hits the underside of the bar, goes in. You need that little bit of looks, but like I think you said, John, or something, if she ain't there, she doesn't have the shot, you don't get that little bit of luck, And I like to see that a little bit more from her. Be a little bit more selfish at times, because I think she's got a bit of a shot on her, especially from range. You know what I mean? Just have the odd little dig at times. Work the goalkeeper. Just give the opposition back four something to think about. I sort of spoke to her after the game as well. She was like, I need to welcome my crosses because the crosses were absolutely abysmal. And I said, mate, you've had a top game. There's always something that you need to work on. There's always something that players need to work on. Not every player comes off the pitch, even if they were player of the match, whatever. There's always something they always say, oh, but I need to work on this, and that's the sign of a truly good player. When you even though you've had a good game, you're always picking out that little negatives to say, I need to work on that. And to be fair, usually a crossing is one of their strongest parts of a game. But it's one of them. She's absolutely buzzing for the goal. That celebration, by the way, the love hearts to Leah Golton from Mary Jackie. That was pretty decent, and I actually called it right before everybody else did, because when the Barclays WSL page put it out, the love heart thing, I was like, I reckon that's for Leah. And all of a sudden, about 10 minutes later or 15 minutes later, or whatever it was, everyone's like, oh, it's for Leah. And then obviously the player confirmed it and everything. I was like, thought so. Yeah. It was just really, really, really good to see her back on the goal scorer sheet. Good to see her smiling again, mate. That's all I want, man, is to see our players enjoying the game of football and playing with a positivity, a smile on their faces, knowing that they belong at this football club and they've got the absolute talent to take their games to the next level. And they trust in Casey to provide them with a platform to take the game to the next level. So it was a decent performance, mate. This performance. I'm not going to blow smoke up her ass anymore, man, because people might think that I'm being biased as hell. But there you are. But a decent performance nonetheless.
We will move on because we've got a few other things to talk about. Which we have to obviously mention County Zelem's goal as well. We mentioned obviously the cross from Highland, but that's nice to see our captain get on the score sheet and from open play as well, not a free kick or a penalty.
Yeah, man, I'm buzzing for her and Jess. Like, they're like my two go-to OG21. Like, obviously I love everyone, but they're like the two ones. It was always Jess and Katie assisting Jess, and you always see them too. So I'm buzzing, mate, for both of them. And for me, she's one who always gets a lot of stick. I saw Casey at the end talking about her, saying that she's improved a lot in her performances, and I think, yeah, to be honest, she has. There was a bit. Let's be fair, you're all biased. Yeah, man, we are. There was a bit at the end, where people were like, Katie this, and should she be playing, and this and that. But listen, I saw a comment as well, just sort of saying, against the big teams, Hayley, yeah, all day long, shut up shop, do this. But I think if you're playing teams like Villa, Bristol, for me, Katie, with her passing range and what she can do in the middle and the passes, the game against Everton, that was one where I just thought her long range passes, no one in this team does it better. And for me, I'm happy she got a goal, happy she's working in training. For me, all the players since the 2018 from to now have just improved massively. And, they're going to have to, because, we talk about strikers always coming in. We talk about midfielders always coming in, different defenders. This is where this team's at now. And, it's you have you keep raising your game or you're going to have to go. And, no one wants to leave when we're just on the cusp of it. So for me, it looked, she looked shocked. Yeah, she didn't score a lot of headers, I don't think. But I was so happy for her, so pleased it was her. And it was right on the head. Bang, 3-0. Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming.
She looked shocked, but she also looked very happy. She really enjoyed that one. And I mentioned, obviously, Katie not taking a free kick there, but the set pieces was Lucy. She took quite a few of the crosses, didn't she? Quite a few of the, which is something different, but nice to see because it all worked out. We have to give a bit of a shout out to Casey Stoney's in-game management as well. So I'll bring Matt in on this one, just regarding the substitutions at the right time, giving enough people the right amount of game time. So first of all, I think it was it Fuso that came on first, or was it? I think Ross came on as well. Just what were your thoughts, Matt, on the substitutions?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, it was good that we could kind of rotate. You are correct. Fuso was first on around the 60th minute for Tooney, and I think it was good for Tooney that she could get the rest, and it was good for Fuso that she could get a decent amount of time. I mean, talk substitutions, and obviously, for me, I've always said, and whether this is sort of professional, semi-pro, or sort of amateur, can take a sub sort of 5 or 10 minutes to get into the game and to sort of get up to speed and sort of stamp their impression on it. And I think half an hour gives that time, to sort of come on and make an impact. And yeah, it was good. Always good to see sort of the younger players giving a go. Again, just like I say, resting players, the job was done. Obviously, then we got to see Jane as well come on. She's not had much sort of game time this year. And then obviously Carrie. Again, I think that was most pleasing for me. We've seen her and Tara Bourne on the bench many weeks now. We've seen they've been involved with her first team since October, November maybe. And yeah, I tweeted yesterday. I said it's good to see Carrie come on. That's what United's all about. She sort of got 4 or 5 minutes and plus the injury time and put in a couple of good tackles, took herself about out there. So yeah, it's good that we've sort of, despite our injuries, that we can still make the subs and afford to rest players that we're going to need for next week and still give debuts to people that deserve it. And that's the way of the club, isn't it? Bring those young players through. We saw it last year. Rebecca May got her debut. Got another one this year, so it's looking good in terms of these homegrown youngsters. So yeah, good times all around.
Casey might disagree with what I'm about to say, but she didn't have to make that substitution. She didn't have to bring young Carrie on, did she? The match was 1-3. She could have done anything. She could have just let the game play out. and she still chose to do it. And again, that's just a sign of a good coach, but also a Man United coach is what we wanted, isn't it? Ben, what were your thoughts on the substitutions?
Well, you know, to be fair, mate, isn't it the United way to always give a youngster the debut, the chance to shine? Yes, fair enough. It's only a couple of minutes, but it's always the United way, mate. You know, you need to show that there's a path to the first team, and that if you're good enough, you'll play. You know, you can sign all the international footballers you want. You can sign all the world-class players that you want, you know. But for me, nothing pleases me more as a Manchester United fan than seeing one of our homegrown academy players coming on, making their debut, getting a couple of minutes, you know. Fair enough, it was a pretty easy decision for Casey to do. We're 3-0 up in the game. They weren't troubling us. But they're the type of games where you can give players from your academy, from your devs, that couple of minutes on the football pitch to say, look, we are a football club that gives you the opportunity, and it's the right way to do it, mate. You know, even when our team was abolished in 2005 by those that shall not be named, we was always producing players, and they were going on to different clubs. They were going on to your Cities and your Liverpools, and that, mate, when you read that kills you. You know, as a United fan, that kills you. It's like we could have had all these players coming through. We could have had absolute mint side by now. We could have ruled football, mate. You know, the amount of players that we produced and everything, as well as being a big footballing name. We could have had powerhouse names in, you know. But it's just the way that I like to see it done. That, you know, that fearlessness from a manager to go, yeah, all right, it's only a couple of minutes, but I'm going to bring on one of my young players. I'm going to give her a little taste, a little feel of how it is to play first team adult football. You know, at the very, very highest level of the league. You know, you know, you've got to do it though. You know, it's all right. People saying, yeah, I'd rather us sign this and that, mate. Listen, these are going to be your backbone players for the next decade or so. These players that are upcoming, they play for the badge. They play for the love of the football club. They represented the football club at every single level, and for me, mate, it's the United way of doing things. If people don't like it, fair enough, man. But for me, nothing pleases me more than watching us give a young talent an opportunity to grace the football field, playing for Manchester United, wearing that badge with pride and honour, you know. And hats off to Casey for doing that. I think, like you said, people said she didn't have to do it, but she did it, and that is a sign of a manager that knows the history of this football club, that has bought into the history of this football club. And for me, Casey Stoney is a Manchester United manager. She is every bit a Manchester United manager as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as Sir Alex Ferguson, as Sir Matt Busby. She is devoted to this football club, and I like to see that. And I'll stop waffling on now.
It was just great to hear, because obviously as Man United fans, and that's exactly what we are, not just Man United women's fans, just Man United fans. You just say everything that a Man United supporter believes, just in that statement. And that's one.
Yeah, like you say, she didn't have to. And I think now we're seeing a lot more of Casey giving these kids a chance. I think, you know, the first year there was, you know, a lot of people know what I think about some of the young players that have come through and, you know, been sitting on the bench, and I've wanted to see them play. And I've been, you know, there's been people making campaigns to see certain players play. But I feel like now she is getting it more. She is, you know, whether it's she's trusting in a squad more. But for me, like what Matt says, I know Tara's definitely been in that squad acting up since about October or something. But Carrie, I think more recently around December, them two are absolutely different class. I'm telling you now. And the fact that she just fitted in so seamlessly, she came in on the right, but it's that terrier, it's that dogged nature, and that's the way she plays when she's in the devs. She's new to this club. She came in from somewhere in Wales, Cardiff. She came in from Cardiff this summer. Luckily, me and Dave went to see a few games of her play for the development team just before all this tier 3, tier 4, whatever came in. When it was grassroots, when the devs were considered grassroots, we went to go and see her play, and I was watching it. I was like, this girl, why is she running so much? She needs to chill. But that's the way she is. That's where she plays. And I thought Amy T said something about, she loves a side tackle, this one. I thought, yeah. And then Tooney said, so do I. And it made me think, when I've been watching this girl, that's who I thought of. And I know that's sort of like Tooney plays 10. This girl, Carrie, plays more forward. I just thought of Tooney because she's that never say die, never give up, always will look to win the ball, will track back and defend. And that's who I thought of when I was watching her playing for the devs, because that's the only player I could think of. Then Tooney sort of said that little comment, and I had to quote tweet it and just say, that's the person who I thought of. So I'm glad that Tooney sees that little bit of the similarness in them both. I mean, before she even came on, I said, we need to see Tara. And then everyone was like, no, it's Carrie. But I'm happy it's Carrie. I reckon we will see Tara soon. Tara, I'm seeing people there saying, what position does she play? She plays central midfield every time I've seen her play for the devs. And she can play centre-back as well. And I think bringing in a centre-back is a bit more risky than bringing on a forward. Even bringing on a centre midfield is a bit more risky. I know when Rebecca May came on last year, she's sort of a central defensive midfield, central midfielder. She brought her on at right wing. So I don't know when we'll see Tara, but I'm telling you, we will see Tara because she's different class, different levels. And Carrie, it's onwards and upwards. This isn't the last time you're going to see her. You're going to see her again. Maybe it'll be this season. I hope so, because, our FA Cup run, that's when I'd like to see them both playing, whether it's from the start or 45 minutes or, whatever. I'd like to see both Carrie and Tara get minutes then, and some others. But I'm so happy that made that for me. I was so happy that Jess scored, but when Carrie came on, that made the whole day.
Thank you to everybody in the comments, by the way. There's a few people who've never been on the show before that's commented as well, so thank you for that. For me, the Carrie one meant a little bit to me because I remember her joining, because I wrote an article about it when she joined, and I always remember doing a bit of research on her, and I'm sure I remember. I think I read an interview with her mom where she said that she had to travel something like 2 or 3 hours at a time after school or something along those lines just to go to training, because the football team was like miles away from where the school was. So basically, I'm just talking about the dedication at such a young age as well. And at that age, got moving obviously to play for Man United is such a massive thing. And I don't know if you'll know this one, Matt, but I'm sure she played international before she played for a club. Is that right? I've seen that.
Age 15.
Yeah, because the rules are a little bit different, aren't they? So she was able to do that. So yeah, it's meaningful for all of us, and it's just what we want to see into the next generation. Did you want to say something, Ben?
No. I'm just typing away. I was just interacting with our chat guests, or our guests on chat. Sorry.
That's okay. We just got enough time just to give our player of the match. There's been quite a few in the comments, but I have kind of ignored him a little bit until now. I think I know who's going to win, but I'm going to say Jess because I know I was going to say Jess because she's fresh off injury or she hasn't played much. Lucy Stan's been the same, but no, for me I'm going to say Jess because I just think that she did a great job as well. But I'm sure there's going to be some other names. Matt, do you want to start off?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with who I voted for in the Barmy Army, Paul, and that was Lucy Stan. Yeah, I just think, I tweeted yesterday, it was pleasing to see her come back so well. Obviously, it was a bit of a blow to sort of, she came back in that Reading game and pulled up and then been out for a little while. It was unfortunate not to see much of her. And I thought she came and, came in, did a job. We know how physical, or I've seen, how physical she can be, which is great. Set pieces, how good is it, or how refreshing is it to see somebody that can put in a very good set piece? And, obviously we saw that header, we talked about it, and the corners look great as well. So, yeah, for me, Lucy Stan, I thought, obviously, She took off after 60 minutes, but listen, you know, I think that was probably because it was the first game back, but obviously she played the friendly last week, but just about now just maintain that consistency, and I think it gives the gaffer a headache for Arsenal next week now. Does she go Jackie, Stanny and Hayley, or does she go Katie because Katie scored as well? It's going to be interesting next week.
100%, yeah. Lucas, in the comments, nice of you to join us, mate. We are coming towards the end of the show, but Nat, you love your...
Bless me.
Bless you. You know your away days more than anyone, especially in Europe. Do you want to answer that question? Where would you like to go if it was an away day?
Me, Lucas, I know a lot of Spanish people, so I'd like us to play either Levante, which is Honor's old team, and there's a girl called Esther Gonzalez who's scoring loads of goals there, or Real Madrid. Those are the two teams. Obviously, Real Madrid is just for the giggles, isn't it? Man United, Real Madrid, imagine having them come and play at LSV, then we go to their training ground. I love Spain. Any Italian team would be good as well. But yeah, anywhere. I don't care. Let's go.
Play with the match.
Lucas, get your passport and come and see us, yeah? We'll let you know the flight details.
And Glenn.
And we'll all drink behind the bar. And that's what you do, mate. European away is drinking sangria and San Miguel and having a good time.
Play with the match, Natalie.
Lucy Stan. I mean, I'm like you. I want to say Jess, and Jess scored, and I want to say her, but for me, Stan just dominated it. Stan was the reason behind the first goal a bit as well. I think she was the one who sort of harried it off the girl, and then Kirsty picked it up. And then obviously the free kick. Ignore Tooney saying lob it in or whatever. Just thought, now I'm going to put it on the head, and she put it in the area and bang, bullet header. Like Matt was saying, the corners are really good. For me, she just dictated that game. We need to see it now in a big game. For me, I think you can't not play her. There was creativity through her. So, you know, but it depends what she does with the wing, because Tooney was on the wing, but she was linking up well with Tooney. I don't know. This is why we're not the manager. This is the manager's choice. I trust in the manager, whatever she chooses. But Stanley, you got to just give it all to her, really.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Yeah, Chelsea fan having a bit of fun here. Fair play though, you did get
the win.
yeah, fair enough. Ben, play with the match.
Well, I have to say what I said on Twitter, right? Because somebody will call me out as hypocritical if I don't. I'm going to say Martha Harris, man, just for the fact that she was out a long time. You know, a couple of injuries that have kept her out. I know she came back and then picked up another injury, and then she's come back this weekend. She's applied herself very well. She had a top game. So, yeah, I'm going to say Martha Harris, because otherwise, if I say somebody else, somebody will say, oh, but Ben, you said on Twitter. You know, so I'll have to stick that. And I'll stick Martha Harris.
Martha plays well.
To be fair, though, standing forward was quality, though, man. And I think that's the best we've seen her standing for since she's joined the football club. Again, she's had the injuries, she had suspension, everything that sort of hampered the season. But it's the best I've seen of her. So I think she was class. And, of course, Jess Sigsworth was unbelievable up front. So, but I'm going to stick with Martha. Otherwise, somebody will call me all the names under the sun for changing my mind.
We've got to shoot off because we've got to make sure that we leave on time tonight. But three things. One, Lucas, if you are new to the channel, go to our playlists. So go to Wolf United, go to playlist, and there's a MU Women one on there. We've got like 30 odd videos. We've done over 30 videos. We go live twice a week on YouTube. So if you are new to us on YouTube, please jump back in. That's the first thing. The second thing, the competition that we've been running for the last six weeks or so is going to be drawn on Saturday night. It's a live show with me and the other Wolf United creators who talk about our men's team. It's on Saturday night. So all your names who've been in the hat is going to be drawn on Saturday. And the last thing, there's quite a few things going on this week regarding programs on Twitter and on YouTube. Matt, I can never remember them.
Oh, John, put me on the spot now. Tomorrow, 8 p.m, there is yourself, myself, Gareth and Anthony. And we're sort of talking TV, accessibility, especially in a pandemic. I'll not give too much away, but obviously I know there was talk about the England game sort of being on red button at 12:30. There's been talk of Conti Cup games when people are in work. So, yeah, just going to go through that basically and have a bit of a chit chat. So that's tomorrow, 8 p.m. Twitter Live. And as always, I will pin it because I know it can get missed. But another thing on that as well, still got people asking about commenting. Video comes up. If you click it, it's like a little box and then it should take you to a black screen. Then there's a little love art button to like it, and there should be a comments box, and that will sort of link your Twitter up to Periscope. So if you do that, dead easy to sort of interact, and you don't even need a Periscope account. You can just do it through your Twitter. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, we are going to call it a night, guys. Please tune in on our Twitter, All For United WFC, and we will catch you back on YouTube on Friday. It is Friday, isn't it? Yes, Friday. Rahul and Raja. This is going to be yeah.
By the way, we've hit 22 likes, so it's not a big shout out to everybody. Thank you for that.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Come on, you're always. I'll see you there, people.